welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. And today on the show, we are doing one of our monthly trailer roundup episodes talking about a bunch of movies that are coming in September of 2024. We'll just get a couple of puzzle pieces in, and then we'll see. Maybe we'll end up covering some of these movies on future episodes and get a little deeper into each movie. But for today, Jason Harris is joining us as he usually does on these trailer episodes to talk about over a dozen movies. So we will get into that in a moment. Before we do, I do want to remind you to make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow us on social media at Piecing Pod, and don't forget to join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. And also, before we get into the conversation, I've got some listener puzzle pieces to read off. So I got a handful this month. So let's get into some of those. These are puzzle pieces that listeners sent in after some of our episodes from August came out. And I think we got some good ones here. So starting off with Trap, which we did a live show on, Eric Lanberg wrote in and said Vox Lux, which is a movie I was thinking about for Trap, but I decided to keep it in my back pocket. I'll probably use it when we do Smile 2 in October, because it looks like it's probably a big influence on that one too. So I figured I'd just hold on to it for now, but definitely good piece to include for Trap. The Bike Riders, Josie DeMarco said The Night Riders, which I hadn't heard of, but I looked it up and it looks pretty wild and maybe better than The Bike Riders. So I want to watch that movie. That sounds like it's a pretty crazy one. For Alien Romulus, which we also did a live show on, Darin Lundberg said sneakers, when they lower the heat so they can sneak around and be undetected, which, God, I haven't seen that movie probably in 30 years. It came out in 92. I probably saw it in the theater, and I haven't seen it since then, so I didn't even remember that, but that is a great pull, and that's really funny. I should rewatch that movie one of these days. For Between the Temples, my guest for the episode, Lex Rofeberg, actually wrote in after we did the episode with two more puzzle pieces. He mentioned When Do We Eat? And You Are So Not Invited to the Bar Mitzvah, which I haven't seen either of those, and I've been wanting to watch You Are So Not Invited to the Bar Mitzvah, but especially When Do We Eat? That sounds really ridiculous, and I was a big fan of Between the Temples, so I feel like I would probably like that too. So lots of great pieces there from some listeners. As always, if you think of puzzle pieces for movies we cover here on the show, send them in. I'll read them on the next trailers episode. And with that said, let's get into this trailers episode for September. All right, it's time for another month of trailers. Jason Harris is with us. How's it going, Jason?
Dave, I'm fine, but judging by the trailers you made me watch for this month, I won't be not depressed for too long.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, every month has its ups and downs, I suppose we could say, right?
Yeah, but this looks like way more downs than ups.
Yeah.
September, we know.
Yeah, it's that in-between period. We just finished the summer, and now we're getting the award stuff coming up soon, but not quite yet. So yeah, we definitely have a bit of a mix. But before we get to this month's trailers, let's talk about last month's movies that we talked about on the August trailers episode. Harold and the Purple Crayon was the first one. I did not see this. Got terrible reviews. It looked awful. Did you see it?
Nope. Don't plan to. My daughter said she wanted to see it. I said, peace, player. You on your
own. Good plan on your part. Next up was Kneecap, which I think we both thought looked good, but I have not gotten a chance to see.
I think it's opening at the Beverly in September here. I don't think it came out before Beverly, Dave, where you're a big superstar. You hanging out doing coke with Greg Sestero of a hooker's titties.
Lovely. Let's move on to our next movie. Next up was Sing Sing, which apparently came out for 1 week at AMC Town Square here in Las Vegas. I didn't even know about it. I don't know what A24 is doing with this movie.
Sing Sing. I didn't even know this was a thing. Ayo,
The movie
boom.
looks really good. It's
I know. I want to
you
see
know.
it. A24, I think is. I think they're going too big, too fast. Like I'm
I
more
think there's a
interested
little
in
of that.
Neon right now. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Neon has a lot of great stuff. They've had a really great year. So, uh, yeah. Well, next up was One Fast Move, which that I'm sure I don't even know if that came out. That's one of those
I don't know what
VOD
it is.
things.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was like we both talked Fast and Furious as puzzle piece. It was like a straight to video racing movie. I don't know, whatever. Um, next up was Borderlands, which whew, what a flop that was. That lost a lot of money for the studios. And I got to see it. It was terrible. I'm supposed to record an episode on it, although we had to push it back a couple times. I don't know if we'll actually still get
Is
to
it
it,
with
but
Joe Black?
it was not. Although Joe Black loved it, so
I know. I saw
yeah.
today in the popcorn and puzzle pieces when we were doing our top five first time watches of August. Borderlands was on Joe's list, along with a lot of other crap. Joe,
Yeah.
you're a bag of pudding, and you got
I
rocks for brains.
I
Pudding and
will
rocks, a terrible combination.
I will give it to Joe. He said the reason he loves it, he's like he admits it's not a great movie, but he loves it because it's the kind of movie that like an older, cooler, weirder friend would show you. And I get that. I get that reasoning, but it's just not good at all. So
I
yeah.
think a lot of the kids probably see Joe as older and weirder, but maybe not cooler or a friend.
Let's go on to Cuckoo, which I did record an episode on. It's not out yet. It's good. I didn't think it was as good or as crazy, obviously, as the title suggests, and as the hype around it was, but I liked it though.
I didn't see it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is another one of those horror movies where everything doesn't add up, what seems to be the trend, and that drives me crazy.
Yeah, I think you'll especially have some problems with it, but I thought it was definitely worthwhile. I did enjoy it, just didn't love it.
What about Drive Me Crazy with Melissa Joan Hart? Remember that one?
Barely, kind of. I mean, the song rules. I love the song, so you know.
What about
But
Sabrina the Teenage Witch with Melissa Joan Hart? Remember that one?
uh-huh, sure. Where are we headed here? I don't
See all these Christmas movies with Melissa Joan Hart? She's big time.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll be able to add one into our trailers list, coming up here soon. Um, Next up, we had Blink Twice, which I also saw. Also have an episode recorded. Hasn't come out yet. It'll be out soon. I like this a lot. I wouldn't say I loved it, but it was solid, and I thought Zoe Kravitz shows a lot of promise as a director for future projects.
That's the most positive I've heard of about it. I was really looking forward to it. I didn't get to see it yet, but seems to be diminishing returns. But you liked it, Dave.
I liked it. Your awesome movie, your co-host Josh Bell liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, I wonder
Yeah,
why.
yeah. Next up was The Crow, which we knew was going to be awful. And I mean, maybe it would be fair to say that some people judged it before it came out, but still, from all accounts, it's pretty terrible. And I did not see it.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to be eating crow by remaking this.
You nailed that one, Jason. You
Stupid
really did.
idiots. Also, I saw there's a meme going around now that it's like, hey, it's time to admit the original Crow wasn't that good. I'm on that train. It's not that good. Let's move on.
Me too. Me too. Soundtrack is that good, but the movie, not really. Not really.
Yeah, you know what else was good? Melissa and Joey, the Melissa Joan Hart, Joey Lawrence
This is
sitcom.
gonna go all episode long, isn't it? Um, yeah. Jackpot was up next, the John Cena Aquafina comedy. I did not see it. I have a feeling I would like it if I made some time to watch it, but streaming movies sometimes they just fly under the radar.
I wasn't enthralled with checking this one out, so I didn't. But I think it did well on Amazon. So.
Right on. Next up, Strange Darling from Las Vegas local JT Molnar. It's incredible. It's so good. Everybody's been talking it up, and it really is that good. I love this movie. Have you gotten a chance to see it yet?
I really want to. Congrats to my former, I think probably your former too, right? College classmate, JT Molnar.
I don't
So
know. I probably met him back then. I mean, we're all around, but
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't think
really
I ever met
remember.
him, but I was like 1 degree of separation in the film program. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch this for sure. So
Yeah.
I'm glad it's getting that you liked it, Dave.
Yeah. Next up is Afraid, which looks pretty bad. I might still go see it, but I have not gotten a chance yet. It just opened
No,
yesterday.
no, bye bye.
Yeah, big no for you. Reagan, though, you were psyched for. So,
As you know, I have a friend, Butch Bradley, in there who I volunteered to put on your podcast, even though he doesn't book me anymore. I guess I made like $7 million this weekend or something, so that's not terrible. I guess I don't know. It just looks like when America needed a hero, he was the man to tell America everything's okay again.
yeah,
It's like, come on, dude. As we said in the last one, let's talk about how he fucked over the poor people and gays and everybody else. Screw
yeah,
this
for
movie.
sure. Well, speaking of America needing a hero, our first movie on the list is God's Not Dead 5, In God We Trust, which will be in theaters September 5th. This is a really hilarious trailer. I laughed through this whole thing, obviously unintentionally funny, but basically the Democrat is painted as this evil politician, and the God-loving guy that they try to place to run against him. I was 100% on board with the Democrat, the evil guy. Of course, like how could I not be?
This looks terrible, and
It's so
certainly looks
bad.
worse than God's Not Dead 2, starring Melissa Joan Hart.
Is she really in
Oh,
it?
yeah, that's just a happy
Yes.
coincidence. You're welcome for that one. Uh,
Oh, wow.
but no, this looks so bad, and I mean, like the bad guy is like, you and your moral high ground. It's like not moral high ground if you're fucking bigoted towards people who don't have the same beliefs as you.
It's
And what
insane.
America needs is a religious. Yeah, and the funny part is like, they forgot that. Like, seems like everyone forgot that there should be no separation between church and state. It's like, fuck off, you assholes.
Yes.
Fuck
Seriously.
you. Fuck this movie. Fuck you, Dave. That's what I said.
I put it
I
on
think
the
you
list
should.
just to make you mad. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think they should change the name to Sound of Religion. They should just combine those two franchises.
Sure. Yeah.
On the opposite end, religious.
Mm.
I thought of Immaculate, the Sydney Sweeney movie, which showed a different side of religion there, and Wag the Dog because of the propaganda that goes along with it.
Sure, absolutely. The American President, throw on the list with Wag the Dog. I also thought of The Candidate, the Will Ferrell election comedy, because they're trying to place somebody in there who's not really a politician. So,
Is
um,
that a remake of the Redford one?
I think so. I think it was. I don't really remember. I didn't even really like it that much. But yeah, I will never see God's Not Dead 5. But hopefully the people that like that will like it. Next up is Transformers 1, which will be in theaters September 13th. This is a prequel to all of the Transformers movies in animation form. Um, I think this looks really, really bad, but apparently, like the early premiere screenings have gone over really well, and people said it's just like great. But I just don't know if I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, the trivia didn't look that bad to me. I mean, you go to the Lego movie and you
Hmm.
go to, Barbie, of course, because it's a Hasbro thing. But then I was thinking, like, Pacific Rim and Shazam for like that kind of ancient lore. And then like a prequel giving where like they're friends. And it was kind of bringing me back to Prometheus. It was just a little all over the place. But people like this one. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, who knows? Maybe they're gonna have a hit on their hands with it. But yeah, I mean, you brought up Shazam on the DC side of things. I was also thinking of just like in general, like that whole MCU. Well, that just happened kind of humor. Like that seems to
Yeah.
be the whole movie. And then also that TMNT Mutant Mayhem from last year. Taking this classic toy turned movie franchise and giving it like a slick animation style. So. Yeah, I mean, again, I kind of like some of the Transformers movies, so maybe I would like it, but I just think the trailer looks pretty bad, but we'll
Yeah, I
see.
haven't seen none of them. I feel like if we're going to be remaking like old TV shows into movies, we should do Clarissa Explains It All with Melissa Joan Hart as. Go
I
on, Dave.
Yeah, I guess I really have no. I don't want to do extra editing. This episode comes out tomorrow, so I'm just gonna leave them all in. So
I mean, it's
just
a good plug
enjoy
for her
yourself.
projects.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Next up, let's talk about My Old Ass. September 13th in theaters. Aubrey Plaza visits her younger self in this coming of age movie. I've heard a lot of great things about this. What do you think about this one?
I think Aubrey Plaza has the exact career I want as an actor. Like, I love
Yeah.
what she does. She bounces between, we're talking about her in another movie this month, but she's really leaned into, like, she's Parker Posey right now, and I love it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited.
Yeah.
This movie, have you ever seen Petite Manon? That's what this is. Petite
That's it.
Maman.
Yeah, sure. I've never actually seen it, but yeah, that fits for sure.
Yeah, that and Looper were the two like old young that I thought of. The setting
Mm-hmm.
reminded me of Your Sister's Sister, and they kind of have a relationship like that. And then that coming of age, like make sure you make it count. I did Kings of Summer, so like all good movies in here that I've referenced.
Yeah, I think those are really great ones, and yeah, if it is inspired by all that stuff, it's probably going to be very good. I also put Big, even though it's not exactly the same thing, but just the whole lessons based on that particular age in life and enjoying that moment. But and then yeah, as far as like the older version meeting the younger version, I also put Looper. So there's plenty of other movies though that we could include on the list.
Yeah, if
Um,
you're gonna put Big, why don't you just put Vice Versa, starring Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage?
Wow, I didn't know where that was going at all. That really shocked
It's
me.
like that.
Listen,
It's kind of the
yeah,
same thing. So it's
okay,
got nothing to do with Melissa Joan Hart.
yeah.
I got
So
range. I got
obviously
range,
your
Dave.
delivery though suggests that that's where it was going, but I don't know.
That's a
Maybe we'll.
misdirect right there, Dave.
Yeah, yeah. You're good at that. You're good at that. Next
Red
up,
herring.
did you know that they're making a remake of Speak No Evil that'll be in theaters September 13th?
And even though the original one just came out 3 weeks ago, right?
Well,
So
also, I'm joking about the fact that they show this trailer at every single movie since roughly January. It has been in every single time anybody goes to the movies. It's so overplayed and overpromoted. I think people are going to not go to this movie out of spite.
I mean, this genre, I've said it all year. This genre is played out right now.
It's
So
just too much.
um,
It's too much.
we're yeah, the idea of like visitors going to a place, and the people who are visiting or the people who are hosting are the bad guys and try to screw the other people, right?
Yeah.
So and Speak No Evil just came out. I mean, what do you want to do? Cabin in the Woods? Do you want to do Fargo the last season with like the underground tunnels at John Hamm's place? I mean, funny games. There's a billion different ones you could choose from here. I'll choose Speak No Evil, the
Yeah,
original, as my.
that's probably an influence, I would think. Yeah, I do love James McAvoy though, so I mean that's the one thing that makes me think like this could be fun to see him just going full crazy. But I included The Shining as far as the dad character just kind of going crazier and crazier. Cape Fear for like that whole intimidation factor of the story. Even if I don't see this movie, I'm gonna go watch Speak No Evil, the original, because I haven't seen it, and it's supposed to be so good. So, have you seen the original?
No, I wanted to, and I still would be down to, but I just really did get sick of this genre.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, next up is the 4:30 movie, which will be in limited release on September 13th. This is Kevin Smith's latest. Um, it looks okay. I mean, I've really hated his last few movies. I think they've all been terrible. I think this looks cute about a bunch of kids who hang out at movie theaters and love movies, and it's probably very autobiographical in that way. Mostly unknown young cast, although there's sprinklings of cameo characters from people like
no,
Ken
he would
Jeong.
never do that.
Yeah,
It
of
seems
course,
unlike him.
of
Yeah.
course. But yeah, I don't know. We'll
Let's
see
see.
about this one.
Let's see. The last good movie Kevin Smith made. Zach and Miri made a
Yeah,
porno in 2008, right?
that's
Was that?
that's what I
I
would
mean,
say.
Red State. People like Red State. I'll give them. I'll give you Red State or Clerks if you need it, but I mean not Clerks or Tusk 2014. But yeah, he's just I mean, this looks fun, but it doesn't. It again looks so. I don't know what happened because the thing with Clerks was he was so smart, right? Like the humor's so smart, and then as he kept going, the humor just gets dumber and dumber. And
Yeah.
like I'm like, why? The fun stuff is the smart stuff. It starts with a fake trailer that brought me to Grindhouse.
Mm.
That we saw those. The idea of like one great '80s summer. I think I've probably mentioned Ping Pong Summer before, which is a great movie I'm sure Snack Shack earlier this year, which I didn't see, was like that. And then
Oh
one where
yeah.
they love movies and reference movies a lot. I picked Becon Rewind. I hope this is good. And if you need someone to do the episode with you, I'll do it.
I am really hoping that this one is good. I put Adventurelands and also last year's Empire of Light, which I didn't like, but set at a movie theater the whole time. Um, but yeah, good picks there. Also, a good reminder that I need to watch Snack Shack. I think I would love that movie.
I want to watch it too. It hasn't come out yet for us to see, but I don't think. But
It's on rental now.
cool.
Yeah,
But yeah, you mentioned one in there that. What else did you mention? Tell me yours again.
Adventureland and
Oh,
Empire of Light.
Adventureland. Yeah, I just wanted to dap up Adventureland. That's a great movie and definitely worth rewatching when you get a chance. And a killer soundtrack.
Absolutely. Well, next up is Wolves, and man, I feel like more than the movie itself,
Wolves.
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 Wolves. I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard to say it wrong, but I feel like the story less, obviously the story of the movie is it's John Watts directs, Brad Pitt and George Clooney. They're fixers. They're hired for the same job. They bicker. But feel like the real story is the fact that this was supposed to be a full-fledged movie, with a big budget and big movie stars. Then they dropped it down to 1 week, and then it would go to Apple TV. And now apparently it's not even getting a 1 week release. And on top of that, a sequel was greenlit at the same time that they announced that they're cutting the full theatrical release.
A lot of people are saying that that sequel's never going to happen.
Probably not.
I'm with you. Major director, the two biggest stars of the early aughts, right? Like, what the heck, man? Come on,
Yeah.
Apple. You have the money to put this in theaters. Just
Yeah.
do the right thing here. Be humans. Give them a month in the theaters before you do day and date. Do something. I want to
Yeah.
see handsome George and good-looking Brad up there on that big screen. I am with you. It's taken too much attention away from a movie that looks like it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We know those two have great chemistry together. They're a proven commodity. John Watts, all he makes is big hits, right? Like, come on, dude.
I really wanted to do a live show on this one, actually, but then it got pulled.
You can from your living room.
I can do it from it. Yeah. Maybe I can get you and Josh to come over.
That's it. I mean, you think of Harvey Keitel in Pulp Fiction right away as the wolf, right? That's number one to me.
Yeah.
I also thought of Clooney as in Michael Clayton, where he's kind of like the legal fixer and everything.
Sure.
And then the kind of mismatched, hey, we have to work together, but we shouldn't be working together. I put the other guys in there, but there's a billion of those.
Yeah, sure, that works. Yeah, good picks all around there. Obviously for the cast, the Ocean's movies, and that whole thing. I thought George Clooney seems like he's a little bit back in like Burn After Reading mode, or at least like some form of Coen mode, because he seems very kind of antsy and silly, and so I'm excited to see that. And then really just like I just put buddy cop movies in reverse since they're not cops; they're on the other side of the law. So
like the other guys.
Yeah, I guess that's like the other guys, isn't it? So, yeah, so that's what I got. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one, and it's a bummer the story around it, but whatever. Next up is His Three Daughters, which will be on Netflix September 20th. This is Carrie Coon, Natasha Lyonne, and Elizabeth Olsen, starring as three sisters whose dad is dying. It looks pretty damn good, actually. Just like one of those sweet little movies.
Yeah, it's really about the sisters coming together and I guess kind of reconciling whatever issues they have along, with this kind of family story. The first one I thought of were the Meyerowitz stories, which talk about an underrated Baumbach movie, I guess, just because that was maybe the first one that went right to Netflix. But that's a really good movie. Coming up, we're getting to the holidays. There's no dead parent or dying parent in this one, but I did think of the familial relationships that need to be fixed. Home for the Holidays. I'm big on that one, Dave, for Thanksgiving. And then this is a Jewish family. Great movie about kind of the angst of Jewish people dying would be To Dust. I know that's a terrible way to describe it, but To Dust, Matthew Broderick helps an Orthodox Jewish man bury his wife the way that he wants so she can keep going to the next plane or whatever. So that's what I meant by that.
Yes, absolutely. And by the way, just on a little tangent, it didn't come up in our August trailers because I didn't even know it was a movie. But have you seen this Between the Temples with Jason Schwartzman and
I'm
Carol Kane?
excited to see that. Yeah.
It's
So
really good. I did an episode on it, and yeah, I think you're gonna love it. So definitely
finally,
check that
Jews
out.
getting some representation in Hollywood.
100%, yes. So for my pieces, I put 20th Century Women, the Mike Mills movie with a bunch of female stars, all kind of getting on each other's nerves in one house. And then I thought of Last Flag Flying, the Richard Linklater movie. I mean, it's definitely a different kind of grouping of people, but all having to like reunite over a death and bring up old stuff and everything like that.
You
And
love that movie.
it's a really good movie. I really like that movie.
Have you even seen The Last Detail?
I've never seen The Last Detail.
Oh
No,
my God! How do you
I
love
know,
Last Flag Flying and you won't even see The Last
I
Detail?
know. It's on my watch list. It really is. But yeah. Next
I
up,
film shamed you.
you you can film it. I need to watch all of these things, so it's fine with me. Next up is A Different Man, which will be in limited release on September 20th. It's about a disfigured man who does an experimental treatment to change his appearance, and then it seems like the old version of himself starts showing up. It stars Adam Pearson, who has that real life affliction, and then Sebastian Stan as himself after the fact. I hear that this movie is just great.
It looks good. You know who else is a different man? No Good Nick, which stars Melissa Joan Hart and Sean Astin.
No,
Never
no,
mind, Dave.
okay. No, 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 no. Stop for one second here. Do you have these planned in advance? Because there's no way you made that transition like on the fly.
I don't have any of them planned in advance. Of
There's
course
just
not.
no way.
I had no idea we were going to talk this much or at all about Melissa Joan Hart today, but I'm all in on it. This does
Oh,
look good, Dave. I'm excited for it. I mean, look, I'm not trying to be crass, but you immediately think of movies with people with, disfigurations, we'll say, right?
sure.
So the Elephant Man and kind of Mask, I'd say. And then this felt like I got Birdman vibes from this, but I don't know why. It was the idea of like someone striving for something or striving for something that was lost and they have to regain it. But yeah, it was tough to really pin this one down, but it does look good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It is tough to pin this one down. I at first I didn't even realize what it was about. I just knew like the kind of general setup, but then when I watched the trailer, of course, that gets more clear. But yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I put May December because of the idea of these people being like kind of two versions of themselves here and interacting with each other. But then I also put Face Off because we are doing an experimental procedure to change one's appearance, and then the other one comes back after them. So, we'll see.
Oh, Castor Troy! Woo!
Very good, very good. Next up is Megalopolis, which will be in theaters September 27th. If all goes according to plan, who knows? Francis Ford Coppola's big passion project. It's led by Adam Driver, but has a huge cast about a civilization on the verge of collapse. And he is dreaming of a new way forward for society. It looks completely insane. By all accounts, it's not a good movie, but some people say that it's great because of just how far reaching it is. I can't wait for it.
Dave, if there was one movie I'm looking forward to this year, it's this.
Yeah,
I am so excited for this movie. And, the thing is, the people, the critics who are saying it's not that good, they just don't get it. And that's why the trailer came out with all the critics saying that, it had quotes of critics saying all the times that they trashed Coppola movies in the past. And then the controversy was, well, they didn't really say that, so it's fake. And I'm like, no, it's not fake. Coppola's playing with the form of criticism. That's what's
wow.
going on here because
There
he's
we
that
go.
far ahead of all of us. I can't wait for this movie. Yeah, I. So you mentioned just how self-indulgent it is. That made me think of Steven Soderbergh's Schizopolis. Have you ever seen
Okay.
this movie?
I haven't seen it. No, yeah.
It's insane. He plays a version of himself going insane, and he has his ex-wife play his ex-wife, and it's just insane. So
Nice,
um,
nice.
it does look like this guy could like stop or play with time. So I put Tenet. I mean Tenet, Gattaca, stuff like that, and then Yeah, I mean, I just had like, is this a world he's creating? The Truman Show. Is he trying to build a better world? A murder at the end of the world from last year, and then it felt very Cronenbergian, so I had Crimes of the Future in there as well.
Yeah, I was also thinking of Cosmopolis as far as Cronenberg's concerned, but yeah, I just don't know what to expect. I mean, I would also throw Metropolis on the list, obviously. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are seeing a comparison there. And then The Great Gatsby, as far as just like a society just full of excess. But yeah, again, I just don't know what to expect with this. There's also those reports out of the premieres that there's an element to this where somebody like acts out a sequence in the theater.
I
Like
love that so much.
how are they going to do that? I don't know, but I hope it's great. I hope it's insane, and I can't wait for it.
I
So
want to be hired to be that guy who does the act out in the
you
theater.
really should, yeah.
I'm
That
gonna
would
hit
be
up
great.
Coppola. I'm gonna talk to him.
Hell yeah,
I'm gonna
hell
talk
yeah,
to my manager and be like, "Hey, I got a
yeah,
gig. I need you to get me."
yeah.
And then he's gonna be like, "Yep, I was looking for a reason to drop you."
Let's go on to The Wild Robot, which will be in theaters September 27th. This is the new DreamWorks animation film about a robot shipwrecked on an island, has to survive while befriending animals. And it looks really cute, I think.
It does look good. Yeah, I mean, So, Dave, we covered Baraka on Awesome Movie Year, which is like a really unique, interesting. I don't even want to call it a nature documentary, but a world documentary that explores nature. And this gave me vibes like that.
Yeah,
From
sure.
the robot side, I think we go to the Iron Giant and Wally. And then, the movie wasn't good, but I think it has similar themes to Strange World, that animated movie from like a year or two ago. And maybe
Yeah.
this will deliver better than that.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I liked Strange World more than you did. I didn't love it, but I did like it. But yeah, I think that that's a good one to include here. And definitely, I had the Iron Giant and Wall-E, and then also Castaway, even though it's not a person, but he's humanoid and he's stuck on an island having to survive. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think it looks like a really fun one. Next up is Lee, which will be in theaters on September 27th. Kate Winslet stars as Lee Miller, the war photographer in World War II.
Yeah, who you didn't have to look up, you just knew.
Yeah, I 100%. I knew that just as much as any of those movies that you've been plugging from Melissa Joan Hart. Did you know Lee Miller?
No, of course not. But
Yeah,
I'm
I
not.
didn't
I'm
either.
not here. Listen, man, I'm not here trying to say that I did, Dave.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's
I
just,
didn't say I did either.
you know,
I just did the work, and I figured that's the bare minimum I could do for the episode. Uh,
nice work,
yeah.
nice
Thank
job,
you,
Dave.
thank you, thank you.
Melissa Joan Hart had a recurring role on Moesha for
Ooh, there you go.
1997 through 1998.
You really couldn't find one where she's a photographer?
I'll have to look.
Yeah.
I mean,
Send it in afterwards. I'll read it on
hold
next month's
on.
trailer episode.
Let's just type in Melissa Joan Hart photographer movie. Looks doesn't look like there's a thing, Dave. Damn
Ah,
it.
damn. That would have been good. That would have tied this whole episode together.
That would have made perfect.
Yeah.
But the problem is now I'm gonna just get all these notices about Melissa Joan Hart
Yeah,
going
yeah.
forward.
You are in that algorithm now for
The
forever.
Melissa Joan Hart. Lifetime's Queen of Christmas. That's what they call her now.
Ah.
Yeah, so she's a war photographer, and they're all like, "What, ladies on the front line? We can't have that." And she's like, "Well, I'm already here, so I'm going to do it." And they're, "Wow, this lady's got moxie." That's the
Yeah,
movie.
that is pretty much the
So,
movie. But it looks pretty good though, right?
no, it does
No.
not.
Okay.
Let's see. Great documentary about a photographer who was not famous in her time, but then when her stuff was found, it became very well known. Finding Vivian Mayer, high recommendation for that.
Okay.
City of God for the photographer who embeds himself in violent situations,
Mm-hmm.
and Full Metal Jacket because it played with those themes as well.
Hey, City of God is a much better version of my Civil War puzzle piece because, I mean, we just had it earlier this year, but Alex Garland's new film is basically that exact same, setup, basically. Uh, And that's really all I had because I couldn't think of anything else for this about specifically a photographer. And that was something I mentioned when we did our Civil War episode earlier this year. Like, there's really not a lot of movies about photographers.
I mean, you could have done a reporter or something else, you fucking unimaginative bastard.
Well, that's why I bring you on the show. So
Yeah, that's right. To
yeah,
demean
absolutely.
you.
Yeah. Let's go to our last one for the month, Never Let Go, which will be in theaters September 27th. It's a post-apocalyptic world. Halle Berry makes her children live in this remote cabin to stay safe from whatever's out there, and they have to hold onto a rope whenever
It's a
they
lot
leave.
of, hey, you like Jordan Peele movies? This is our version of that, and Shyamalan and A Quiet Place. I mean, that's literally what I put down. A Quiet Place, Nope, The Village, and Frailty, because if there's any elements of supernatural type stuff, I figured I'd cover all my bases.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. The Village, good one to include. I put It Comes at Night, and then I also put Arcadian. I know it just came out this year, but it has a very similar thing with a rope as well. So,
Ooh, a rope.
yeah, it's weird. 2 movies in 1 year. I mean, we just talked about Civil War and Lee. There's all these movies where they do the the double ups of the same kind of thing going on. But yeah, I don't know. This one looks like it might be all right. I do want to mention, I didn't even realize this until I just brought it up, but Alexandra Asia directed this one.
Oh, that's a good sign, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that maybe it actually will be something. We'll see. But yeah, that's the last one for the month. We will be doing live piecing it togethers on Beetlejuice, which is out September 5th, and The Killer's Game, September 13th. Either of these 2 movies look good to you, Jason? I know you won't be, you'll be out of town.
Yeah, I want to see both of them. Obviously, Beetlejuice is, we got to see that, brother. And then
Mm-hmm.
The Killer's Game, Batista. We love Dave Batista. He's our number one actor here on the Piecing It Together trailers episode. And,
Sure.
this doesn't look like maybe his best one, but it looks like it can be fun.
Yeah, it definitely looks fun. And Beetlejuice. Hopefully it's good. We'll see. But yeah, that's coming up. So that does it for the month. Jason, is there a movie you watched recently you want to recommend?
I'm going to recommend 2, Dave.
Oh, are you?
So you're talking about movies that you've been trying to watch for a while and then didn't get to. Well, I got one of those off my watch list. It's Big Wednesday, John Milius's movie about surf culture in the '60s and how Vietnam kind of affects it, and it's really interestingly structured because it's like 4 segments, and like segment 1 is like Western Swell 1964, and then Southern Swell 1968, whatever it is. So that was pretty cool. I really did like that one. I would recommend that
Right on.
highly. And then not gonna recommend it highly, but I feel like you would like this, and it's so strange. Fear, Anxiety, and Depression, Todd Solondz first movie, where he actually also stars in the movie, and which is insane in its own right. And he sings songs. It's so weird, but that's what I want from Todd Solondz movies.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to eventually work my way through all the ones that I haven't seen. And so, yeah, I'm hoping to watch that at some point for sure. I bet
Hey,
I'll like
Todd,
it.
if you're listening, cast Melissa Joan Hart in your next movie.
Wow. Okay. Very good. Very good. Jason, plug some stuff. What do you got?
I got Jason Harris comedy, Jay Harris comedy. I got Awesome Movie Year. We're in the middle of 1969. Go check it out. We're rocking and rolling there. Eat This Comedy, doing lots of shows in Vegas and beyond. Come to them. Dave never does. He's not a real friend.
But you know who is?
Melissa Joan
Yeah.
Hart.
There you go. There you go.
Good. I'll take it.
On March 27, 2024, Elon Musk was deposed in a libel lawsuit filed by Ben Brody. The deposition is a new Hug House podcast reenactment of the entire deposition, word by word, in full, taken very seriously.
May I finish?
Sure,
Do you feel you need to yell again?
I might.
The deposition drops on the 4th of July, 2024, with 4 weekly episodes. Subscribe on your podcatcher of choice or find us at hughouse.productions today.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about some of the movies coming in September. Thank you to Jason Harris for joining me on that one, and thank you to all of you for listening. We'll have Jason back on the show next week, I think. We're going to be doing an episode, so keep an ear out for that. Make sure you are subscribed. We are, of course, on all of the major podcast apps. Wherever you're listening right now, make sure you're subscribed. Also, maybe drop us a little 5-star rating and review. Lots of episodes on the way. I think I've got like 6 in the can right now and more scheduled to record, and plus the upcoming live shows for September. So lots coming up. So make sure you're subscribed. Also follow us on social media at Piecing Pod. Join the Facebook group Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces. And don't forget about the Produced by David Rosen Patreon, where I post bonus and advanced content from Piecing It Together, from Awesome Movie Year, which is Jason's podcast, and from my music career. Lots of great stuff over there. It's patreon.com/bydavidrosen. And speaking of my music career, I always close these episodes out with a piece of my music, and I feel like ever since we first started doing trailers episodes, I've always closed the September of each year, the trailer episode, with a song of mine called September from my 2020 album, David Rosen. It's a self-titled album, so I'm going to do that again because it's probably the first time since last September that I've played this on the show. So hope you enjoy it. Check out the full album, David Rosen, on all the streaming services, along with all the rest of my music. And we'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
an All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.